17th in the country. They've been as high as 13th this year, right in the thick of it. And the ACC and winners of 4 of their last 5 games, up to 7-4 in the ACC. Opportunity goes quickly for Zoesha Smith, the 5th year, who came in as a transfer from Georgia and has Georgia Tech out to a 2-0 advantage.
They had a great game against SMU, 11 points, 8 rebounds. She can do a lot for this Yellow Jackets team. Look for her to get involved early and often.
Boston College, you saw their starting group, same group that they rolled out against Pitt on Thursday, a game that Boston College struggled early, ended up dropping that game to Pitt 79-66 on the road. Todd got to go with 2 on the timer, a little bit short, and Sidbury stepped out of bounds trying to get that rebound. Georgia Tech on the other side has been very consistent within their starting lineup for most of the season under Nell Fortner, 6th season at the helm of the Yellow Jackets.
Done a great job since her first year taking over, and a couple of down years, has bounced back this season with a really good roster.
Taken away up top by Kayla Ivey. Ivey, nice look. Pass was a little bit behind Todd, though, and Georgia Tech ends up coming away with the basketball. Out front, the opportunity is good. Kara Dunn, the junior.
It's a great job the opposite way by Smith to come in on the backside defense, poke that ball free, kind of tie up Tiana Todd, so it was numbers the other way for Georgia Tech. Well, both these jerseys are pretty sick. I'm actually in awe of these colors. They're really nice.
It's across women's basketball for years now, this play for K-Day, that everybody has their home game with it. Everybody having some level of alternate uniforms with the pink. And it's really just a great cause to see year in and year out.
The commitment to it, right? Everybody's involved. The programs, the teams, the conferences, the players, everybody's impacted by it.
Especially here in the ACC, which obviously Kay Yao is a part of for such a long time. There's Morgan charging in, but was affected at the rim by Nene and John. Sidbury wide open. In and out from 3. But an offensive rebound from Dontavia Wagner, who gets as many as anyone in the ACC. Wagner averaging 3 offensive rebounds per game.
Got a double clank on that Sidbury 3, but good rebound by Wagner, not to force it and just go back out.
Sidbury tried to get a pass through. It'll stay here with 4 seconds remaining on the timer. There's Nell Fortner, head coach of Georgia Tech.
So good in her career. Led Georgia Tech to the Sweet 16, a great run back in 2021. That same season snapped UConn's 240-game win streak against unranked opponents, so she's checked a lot of buckets off her list at Georgia Tech.
Todd, right off the inbounds play, is in and out. BC was really good on their inbounds plays last time they were here in a victory against Clemson a couple of games ago. 3-pointer in and out from Chit Chat Wright, the first year from Atlanta. Todd right to the basket, kicks for Nene Njai. A really nice offensive performance against Pitt on Thursday. And Njai, who started now 4 games in a row, career high 16 against Pitt. There's Coach Mack. Just looking for that consistency piece, right? You really see it in a game against Clemson 2 games ago. Don't get that shooting performance against Pitt on Thursday. Sidbury to the left hand. She's good at that move. First 2 for Taya Sidbury, the junior from Salt Lake City.
Yeah, she's been up and down, right? Getting results where you feel like you need to, and then just not showing up in certain games for this Boston College program. But talking to the coach and the assistant coaches today, it felt like the confidence was there coming into this matchup against 17th-ranked Georgia Tech.
Nice handoff from Smith inside. And Termes, the sophomore from Spain, has her first 2. Eagles go quickly. Sidbury on the other end is no good. And Termes, who's listed at 6'6", gets that rebound.
Yeah, great size, great ability to grab the rebounds.
Dunn kicks from Morgan. Morgan right hand, no good. And a rebound from Sidbury.
Good job by Sidbury boxing out there.
And Njai goes up. And that is out of bounds. Possession will stay here. 6:18 remaining. Both of these teams still trying to find their shooting early. Georgia Tech's 3 for 6 from the floor, but BC just 1 for 8.
Yeah, you talked about this assist from Smith. Just beautiful dish down low and a great finish for Termes, the sophomore from Spain. Had a great game earlier this year against Oregon. Had a tough shooting night against SMU last time. That was a pretty close game for Georgia Tech.
Ivy just inside the arc is no good. Well, you have to figure it kind of signs of the same start for BC here as we saw against Pitt on Thursday. They really just had trouble making shots in that first quarter. Improved much as the game went on, but it kind of dug themselves a decent-sized hole.
That's what Coach Mack didn't want to do here today. They've already had 9 opportunities, just 1 for 9, shooting 11% here in the first quarter. More than Georgia Tech, but they're capitalizing 3 for 6.
Carnegie gets to the basket.
Now 4 for 7.
Yep, comes off the bench, but is so impactful for this Georgia Tech team. And it's kind of interesting. We see it for a couple of teams in the ACC as Georgia Tech turns the ball over here. Corner 3 is good. And a timeout, Boston College. Kara Dunn, who's a 34% three-point shooter, has a bit of an interesting run here because, you know, she missed a couple of games. She came back, and that first game back was all-world, right? Scored 29 points, a new career high as Wagner scores at the rim, but has struggled a little bit the last 3 games since then, but can't really tie it to the games missed because she had 29 in that first game back.
Yeah, she's just such a versatile scorer that when she's on the floor, she can hurt defenses, and you can see it here, even just her decision-making.
And decides to kick it out. The decision wasn't necessarily wrong there. It was the pass, but...
Is that a broadcaster's jinx? Yeah, there we go. Okay, all right. That was my bad.
you and Daniel have to come to grips with that one.
But she's so good, and I think, you know, when you're ranked 19th by ESPN, you got a lot of hype coming in, and she's lived up to it. Obviously missing those couple of games in a tough stretch, but so good in her game.
Kick to the corner for Wagner. It cycles. Kayla Ivy a little bit short from 3.
It's a great box out down low by Kara Dunn. She's been trying to clear the paint for her team to get rebounds, and did it again there on that big rebound.
Four to shoot for Georgia Tech. Nice little play inside. That's an excellent read as Dunn goes to the basket on the assist from Blackshear.
Yeah, just good give and go with time winding down on the shot clock. They saw it at 6. They had to go quickly, and good touch pass and a good finish at the rim.
Andrea Daly in for Boston College for the first time today. Sidbury, double team comes. Where's the opening? Cycles around for Tatum Green, who's into the game, the freshman. Georgia Tech did a good job really preventing there to be an open look there despite the double team on Sidbury.
Yeah, you called it. Kara Dunn closing it.
Now Blackshear running the floor. It was too far out ahead of her, so tried to do something with it. Throws it away, and Wagner is fouled.
Wagner just saw the mismatch there against Wright, decided to go right after the rim and draws the foul. This is that give and go we were talking about. Good finish at the rim by Dunn. Nice touch pass from Blackshear, and you see the foul here from Wagner. Realizes a smaller defender's on her. You got to attack the rim, draws the foul, and now a chance at the free throw line.
Dontavia Wagner is averaging 14 points a game over her last 13. It's been pretty consistent recently here for Boston College.
Talked about the big win against Clemson at 16 points in that one.
Her last 2 games, she's over 50% from the floor.
Gonna see BC put some pressure on full court here.
Georgia Tech was doing it at one end. Now Boston College does it at the other. Carnegie gets to it, and it's gonna walk into a 3 and is short.
It's actually a great job by Sidbury to kind of move up in the paint, put a little pressure there on the shot, and then still come back into her position to try to rebound.
Sidbury, long 3. It's no good, and then a foul on the rebound attempt. Possession will go to Georgia Tech. By the way, Ariadna Termes had a jersey issue, so she's now wearing number 30, by the way, rather than number 20 as usual.
It's again just a struggle here for Boston College. They're getting really good looks. They're just 2 for 13 from the floor and 0 for 4 from three-point line. You know, there's not a lot of contested shots, not a lot of difficult shots, but you've got to start falling for Boston College to stay in this one.
Termise steps to her left. Three-pointer was affected by Lily Krashovets just into the game for BC, but an offensive rebound for Blackshear, who can't finish at the rim.
And I love the rebounding goal for Boston College. They're quickly looking for the guards at midcourt.
Todd for three. The best three-point shooter by percentage in the country misses there. Ivy walks in, and that's no good. The lid has stayed on for Boston College from behind the arc so far today. 0 for 7 from out there. Morgan, nice little move, but no good with the left.
Sometimes you go a little too strong. It gives the ball a little bit too much momentum, kicks off the top of the rim or front of the rim, and then back out. But that was a good move by Blackshear.
No scoring in a little while here as we play at 13-6. With under 2 minutes remaining, first quarter. Ivy draws a couple of defenders, and it's Daly just inside the arc. No good. And out of bounds to Tech.
It's been a scoreless run for Boston College. Last 3:24 here in the first quarter. They have not hit a field goal. And again, the offense is moving. The offense is getting good looks. They're cutting across. They're taking defenders with them. Shots just not falling.
Yeah, it seems like they've been able to get the looks that they want. It's been the theme of the pick game, similar so far here today. Blackshear has 2 points, the senior. Daly shuffles left for Wagner for three, and that's off. Morgan so quickly up the floor, gets Georgia Tech set, nice little cut. Dunn to the basket and is fouled.
It's just a design play here offensively for Georgia Tech. They get the defense to bite. Wagner's a little late coming over for the help side D inside the paint, so she's coming at full speed. You can see Wagner just goes right into the body, but that's just a strong take from Kara Dunn, and she's done that a couple of times. Had 33 points earlier this year against Virginia Tech in that double overtime game against the Hokies.
You know, Termise is really underrated as a passer. She's third on the team in assists, had been up in the ACC lead in assists earlier this year for a good stretch of the season. But what she just showed you right there, the ability to find the open player.
Thought she had a really good finish to her freshman year, played a role off the bench in the ACC tournament and in the WBIT, so felt like she gained some confidence at the end of the year. Love this pressure for Georgia Tech. You just want to make sure you put somebody on the ball each time, and they've got Carnegie on Ivy here.
After a couple of free throws from Dunn and a foul called.
BC's got some size out there right now, and a couple of players that can match up with Termise, and Augusta Naite came in, so there's a little bit more speed for Georgia Tech out on the floor.
Nice pass. A crash of Ets can't finish at the rim, but got it back though. Hit off of her leg. And so possession will go to Georgia Tech. It's a really good find underneath, but the baskets have just not quite fallen here in the first quarter for Boston College.
Yeah, Todd takes two defenders from outside the paint, and Termise and Carnegie. It opens up Krashovets and just unable to finish. We've seen a couple of open layups there missed by the Eagles.
Georgia Tech's had enough opportunities. They've been able to absorb it on the offensive end as well. 7 for 15 from the floor. The Eagles just 2 for 18. Todd for three. In and out. And that's not a bad look. Just not falling today.
shooters shoot, right? You can break out of the funk by continuing to shoot. So BC's gotten some good looks. You just got to keep building that confidence in game.
Morgan right at the end of the timer, right to the bucket. Tonie Morgan ends the first quarter, and it was a good one for Georgia Tech, who finishes all of college basketball, women's college basketball, embracing it. Everybody has this day on their home floor, and the continued tradition that this day has become. And obviously, cancer, and specifically breast cancer, has impacted so many, so important. And you get to see that with the pink uniforms today, and the constant reminder. Todd no good at the rim. As we return here for the second quarter from Conti Forum. And a pass for Sidbury rolls off. Still managed to get it to Todd. 7 to shoot, Wagner. Dontavia spins right, and the bucket is waved off on an offensive foul. Well, we mentioned it, second game in a row. It's just, the shots haven't fallen. Again, I don't know that it wasn't the shots they were looking for. Just haven't quite fallen so far here today.
Yeah, they've got good looks, they've got clean looks, but you look at the game against Pitt, first quarter, 1 for 12, 10 points today, just 2 for 19, 0 for 8 from the three-point line. And Eagles usually shoot pretty well from the three-point line, especially here at Conti Forum, but not a good start.
Wright nearly got her own rebound. In fact, Wright and Smith both read it, and they sort of collide together, and on friendly fire, it's out of bounds to BC.
See some different lineups out here for Boston College. Saw them go big. Now it's a little bit smaller with Athena Tomlinson running point.
Todd trying to find something. That's a long 2, and it's good. I mean, she's shooting the ball so well. We talked about the three-point shot a lot, #1 in the country in three-point percentage coming into the weekend. But it's really everything with Todd. Morgan inside, knifing through, and couldn't finish at the rim. Daly in transition. It's
like
off
that
for Tomlinson.
Tomlinson came back around to Daly to get the ball to reset the play because Daly was in some trouble. So you like to see that from a freshman guard.
Daly drives, pull-up jumper from the elbow is too strong. In transition, 3 is good. Augusta, the sophomore.
Had 7 made three-pointers earlier this year against Rice. Had 23 points in that game. You can see her shot smooth.
It's 24% from 3 this year. That one looked good. 22-8, the Georgia Tech lead, and it's tied. That's in and out.
If you can get Todd going, you were talking about it, 10-plus points in 9 out of the last 10 games for Todd. Try to get some scoring going.
Another one, not this time.
She might have heard you talk about the percentages and was like, hey, let's get those numbers up.
Yeah, it'd been 26. As that one's off. 26 for 79 from 3.
Going back to this play, you see Tiana Todd realizing she had the screen, fights through it, and still pulls up for the jumper by the free throw line. And then going the other way, it's just great ball movement again, coming off the hands of Wright. And Augusta Naite with an awesome three-pointer from the far side.
Beg your pardon, 32.9% from 3 this year. And she knocked that first one down, 1 of 2 on the opportunities from out there. Georgia Tech as a team is 2 for 6. A third try. That's in and out. Chance at an offensive rebound, but they called a foul on the over the back against Dunn.
Well, Eagles have struggled defensively against the three-point shot. See this season. 16th in the ACC in field goal percentage defense as well.
Daly, good take inside. Andrea Daly coming off the bench a little bit more recently. That gets 2. Still a 12-point game right now. Deep 3 this time, and that's short. Offensive rebound, Dunn, no. That'd be off BC, and indeed it is.
Good effort down low, rebounding, trying to create a second opportunity. See some subs checking in. Green, one of those freshmen for Coach Mack in Boston College, trying to provide a spark off the bench.
Five to shoot. Carnegie faked right, and it's thrown away. Good defense that time by Boston College. And Jai will reset to the trailer Todd.
Had Green down low.
Tomlinson in and out from 3.
God, it feels like Georgia Tech is just forcing BC to be chaotic.
Pass inside, it was a little too far for Blackshear. You're right, this game has kind of become up and down and up and down. Tomlinson stayed with that well through traffic. Green goes up though, couldn't finish at the rim.
Just these point-blank layups. Gotta get it off the glass.
Here's Dunn, Euro step and a foul. An aggressive drive from Kara Dunn, who leads all scorers today with 9 points.
Well, again, just a good decision by Carnegie again to just find the open player. Dunn gets the overcommitment from Todd and then gets Njai in the air. Good decision-making, good IQ from this Georgia Tech team.
By the way, that's 2 fouls on Njai as well as 2 fouls on Wagner for Boston College. Dunn into double figures once again for the 20th time this year. Has 2. Sidbury to the basket, couldn't finish. Dunn open for 3, and that's in and out. Dunn's one of these players that performs even better when life gets tougher in the ACC, averaging nearly 18 per game in conference play. Jackets, who had started 3-0 in conference play, they'd started overall this season 15-0. A start in a long time for this program. A 4-4 stretch since then, but as we talked about, they've been better recently. Winners of 4 of their last 5 games, including a 1-point victory over SMU at home on Thursday.
We talked about it, best start in conference play for Georgia Tech since that 2010-2011 year, and just feels like Nell Fortner has done a really good job in getting the right pieces. Not a big lineup, not a big roster, but the right players committing to the culture and what she wants to build down at Georgia Tech.
Wagner back in with 2 fouls. Sidbury gets an offensive rebound. Cycles around, 4 to shoot. Green drives, Tatum Green got it right back. And Green is good. First 2 of the game for Tatum Green.
And you love that. First time goes a little strong towards the rim. This time, the second time around when she gets the rebound, a little soft touch to get it in.
Pass to the corner, knocked away off Boston College.
We were talking about Coach Fortner for Georgia Tech, a Two-time conference champ at 2 different stops. Led Purdue and Auburn to conference titles. Purdue back in 1997. That was before she won a gold medal with Team USA, so she's been all over the map internationally and here in the States.
Head coach at Auburn for a long time before here at Georgia Tech, also in the WNBA with the Indiana Fever back in the early aughts. What a game for Kara Dunn, huh? That's 15 points for Dunn. She has 15. No one else on Georgia Tech has more than 3.
She also has more than Boston College.
That's a correct statement as well. The Dunn Show here at Conti Forum.
We told you she had 33 earlier this year. A junior from Dallas can really get it going.
Todd, good on the jumper.
No, for as bad as Boston College's shot here in the first half, there's still 14 points within it, and it's a good position to be with the top 20 team in the country, especially on your home floor.
Well, sometimes we talk about kind of that last 3 minutes of a half, first couple minutes coming out of the break. You can find some momentum in there, but it's a great look from Georgia Tech. They've had those looks throughout the course of this game. Blackshear with 4.
Good zone defense here, 2-3 zone for Georgia Tech.
Ball taken away by Chit Chat Wright. And in transition, no good. But what a rebound from Carnegie. That's such a good read from the 3-point arc to find where that rebound was going to be, get right to the spot. And Georgia Tech takes advantage, and then that is thrown away.
Just suffocating defense, right? There is a person, a body, a hand, people moving around for the Yellow Jackets that make it so difficult to get into your position. You see Green, she's trying to roll off that screen, but the defender stays with her. Even with this ball movement, not a lot of movement defensively. Let Boston College do what they're doing. They create the turnover with the inside pass and then attack, get the right shot, right? Get your own rebound, crash boards. That creates a second opportunity, second chance points for Georgia Tech. It's one of those plays you clip and you show in the video room each week.
Right for 3. It's a little strong. And a rebound out to Daly. Final 100 seconds of this first half. 32-14, Georgia Tech the lead. Ivy got inside for Daly for 3, and that's no good. Tonie Morgan in transition for Smith. Zoe Smith right to the basket.
Eagles now 0 for 11 from 3-point line.
We see quickly the other way. Sidbury got her own rebounds and still alive here as we hit the minute mark in quarter number 2. A 6-0 run here for Georgia Tech. Daly pulls up, draws the foul. Got in tight with Dunn. It's the second foul on Kara Dunn.
Well, we've been talking about the defense. Transition as well for Georgia Tech has been so good. They get the rebound, 1 pass, 2 dribbles, 1 other pass, and then a finish at the rim by Smith. I mean, that's great ball movement. That's great communication to call out the help side D, to call out the screen and say, hey, it's coming, the switch. That's what you want to see if you're Nell Fortner and this coaching staff for Georgia Tech is you want to hear that communication. You want to see each player kind of playing for each other out on the floor.
Jacayla Thompson will come in for Daly here. Final 50 seconds. Quarter number 2. Nice shot for Chit Chat Wright. Her first 2 points. Now, all 8 players that have appeared for Georgia Tech have points in this first half. And Jai was affected. They have been blocked. And Georgia Tech can hold for a final look. Morgan with 5 on the timer, lost it out of bounds. So BC just under 4 seconds to try something. Gotta get the ball in. Morgan putting on a little pressure, and then Jai, a half-court heave is no good. And that's how
I'm proud.
So we start the third. And Georgia Tech's in the white uniforms today. Boston College in pink on this play for K-Day from Conti Forum. And a chance for Smith right inside. And Jai with good defense there. Morgan is no good.
Well, you know, Super Bowl Sunday, anything's possible, right, Eric?
Sidbury tried to get inside. Tavia Wagner does get it back. Well, it's got to start in chunks, right? Just right now, it's just about finding some shots for Boston College and then go from there. Long 2 is no good from Todd.
But another clean look, right? You get the pull-up jumper in the spot that she likes to shoot it from. It's another good look for Boston College. The ball just not falling.
We'll give and go with Termes. Right from the elbow, a little bit short. Ivy, so smooth as the point guard for Boston College. And then a foul called on Zoesha Smith, 5th year. Really not a ton of fouls either way in that first half. First foul there called on Smith.
Yeah, no kerfuffles or anything, right? We just kind of went through it, back and forth, not a lot of free throws.
Todd spinning. Todd's got it.
Well, we talked about it. If Boston College is going to get a spark, it's going to be from Tiana Todd and one of these guards getting those shots to fall.
Dunn set up for 3. Got another.
Silky smooth. I mean, just that shot, pull up, nice lineup to that shot, and she wants it go in the whole way.
Her second 3-pointer of the day. Sidbury to match is a little short. Todd, though, with a good find to the offensive rebound. And then the runner short. Out of bounds to Georgia Tech.
As a shooter, you always want to get a clean look. You want to get that defense to sag off. Extra pass is going to come up to Dunn from Smith, and then just a clean look. Good rotation, good follow through on that shot, and that's why she's been one of those go-to players for this Georgia Tech staff and why they want to see her shoot that ball more.
So BC puts the double team on and draws the jump. Possession will go the other way off the held ball.
It's a good idea for Coach Mack there. She's been hurting BC in different ways. Now send that help side defender and try to have the defenders for BC close out the other players around the rim.
Tina Tomlinson back in the first year. Ten to shoot is Daly. Asks and Jai for the screen. Daly, elbow, no. And Morgan on the run out the other way. Morgan gets to the basket. And Tonie Morgan has 4 points.
And we've seen the junior do that every time she's had a chance to try to cut across and get a strong layup. She takes the contact and goes to the rim.
5-2 start to this third quarter for Georgia Tech, and here's the run out.
Yeah, all ACC second team last year, a second team selection in the ACC tournament. So strong and a good finish.
It really does not take many strides for her to get from one end of the floor to the other. Elbow, jumper, good.
I mean, that's what makes her game so good, right? Sees the smaller guard, doesn't want to go attack now, decides I can pull up over Athena Tomlinson, and then does. Nice strip by Wright now. Oh, miscommunication. The rare mistake we see for Dunn today, right? She's trying to find her teammates, and it just miscommunication there.
So as much as the offense certainly stands out, but I think Coach Fortner's probably happiest with the defensive effort today from Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and again, it's just not overcommitment. It's not aggressive. It's just clean, hands up. Have BC make mistakes, and you be there to benefit from it. That's been the mantra.
Todd, step back, a little short. And again, here's Morgan on the run. For Smith, yes.
Well, now it's Tonie Morgan. Right now it's the Tonie Morgan show. She has made a couple of good shots, and it's all coming from the defensive end for Georgia Tech. Defense leading to offense and allowing the Yellow Jackets to pull away here in the third quarter.
It's a 9-0 run for Georgia Tech over the last 2+ minutes at the beginning of this third quarter. Tomlinson, nice little look for Green. Good find by Athena Tomlinson.
Those two are going to grow together. As freshmen here at Boston College, that chemistry is only going to increase and improve.
Right. That's a veteran play, right? Because when you get your defender up in the air like that, Wright just steps right into it and draws the foul.
She wanted to try to fire the shot, but just kind of got bulldozed there by Green on her way through, so couldn't do it. But you talked about this pick and roll. That's what you want to see. Just draw two defenders in, create that open window where you can just bounce pass or a quick slide pass to Green, and she's able to finish at the rim uncontested. I want to see more off-ball movement from Boston College. A lot of stagnant bodies offensively.
Smith straight on. Not that time, after she made one from the corner pocket. Todd on the run out, and that's just a good defensive chase from Kayla Blackshear. Good work on the back check.
She had some good defensive plays in the first half as well. Started her career at Alabama her freshman year and has really grown into this role at Georgia Tech in the last couple of years.
There's a nice play by Sidbury.
I like to see Boston College attacking the paint. Just 3 of 8 in the first half on layups. Now doing a little bit better here to start the second half.
Morgan, I mean, you said it. When you have a team like this where, you know, it was obviously done in the first half, but it doesn't have to just be one person. That driver can change, not just night to night, but half to half. Todd's got that one at a foul. So a couple of good looks each way, but the story has been done with 18 points to put together this big Georgia Tech on their side, but the person keeping Boston College offensively going has been Tiana Todd.
Yeah, Todd just trying to will her team back into it here against Georgia Tech. You usually see her shooting up those three-point shots, but really attacking the rim here today. You can see how she stepped up in conference play. First 13 games of non-conference, about 11.2%, 46% from 3, and just 7 10-point games, but 11 since conference play started and shooting 55% from beyond the arc.
So with 4:16 remaining here in the third, and Morgan continues an impressive second half.
Well, you said it. There are different scorers that can find a way, and Morgan is one of them.
As you know, it's the scoring certainly, but it's just kind of conducting the game, right? It was done earlier. Now it feels like everything that Georgia Tech's doing, it's going to go through Morgan first. And it ends up with Blackshear.
But it started with Morgan, right?
Again, hockey assist that time.
Just beautiful. Smith, right? Everybody's contributing and just benefiting from this team play. It feels like 3 touches and they're at the rim, they're scoring.
Three ball rattles in for Todd. "12 points now for Todd into double figures once again.
Eagles now.
Three-point shot has been so good for Todd. I know it hasn't gone today, but national leader in three-point percentage coming in. Had been at 61% from three since January 12th.
Just incredible, right? Like you want to get your good shooters opportunities, and Boston College has opened up their offense in most of these ACC games where they're giving Todd opportunities to score. I think Georgia Tech had a really good game plan in forcing Boston College to take more shots and not attack the rim early on, so BC got complacent, but now you're seeing it here in the third and in the second half where Boston College attacks the rim. It's opening up that shot for Todd. She was able to sink that last opportunity.
Wagner is good. 6 points for Dontavia Wagner today. Morgan, nice find to Dunn. 20 points now for Dunn. And that's Morgan's 5th assist. Now all of a sudden the shots are starting to fall both ways. Wagner with 8. And Todd is the one kind of saying, let's go defensively here for Boston College.
Yeah, it started with Todd here in the third, getting a couple of back-to-back buckets. Now BC, 3 of their last 3 on field goals.
Corner 3, Dunn's no good. Todd right to the basket. Todd parts the Red Sea.
Or is it Yellow Sea?
Timeout called by Georgia Tech. Lewis and I will get on the same page on the other side. In front of a nice crowd here at Boston College. But Tiana Todd, let's just talk about these last couple of possessions here on the BC side.
Yeah, again, just creating offense. And we talked about it, just willing her team back into this game, trying to get them to claw back here against Georgia Tech. 14 points, 6 of 15. A little bit of a slow start, but here in the second half has started to heat up with 10 points, 5 rebounds. Had a career high 29 against Miami where she hit 8 3-pointers, trying to get Boston College back into it here.
10 straight for Todd in double figures on this wonderful run recently. So out of the Georgia Tech timeout, Morgan back to work, shuffles to her right. Around for Dunn, who traveled.
That is just great defense. Everybody stepping up for Boston College. The switch comes, there's Tomlinson. The pass goes to the left, Daly's over there. I mean, that's what you want to see. Everybody moving, everybody communicating, and keeping your arms up. Don't let the defender or the offensive player get by you as a defender.
Todd for 3. Got it! Little step back. Well, it may not be enough with Georgia Tech with a big lead, but it's been certainly an impressive third quarter here for Tiana Todd.
And the defense for BC here in the last couple of minutes, forcing a couple of turnovers. And you can just see it. Good dish off from Tomlinson. Morgan just steps back a little bit too much. Help side D from Thompson comes a little late. And that's just enough space for Todd to sink it.
She's got 4 rebounds and an assist in this third quarter alone. Maybe a little short that time. And Morgan on the run. Thompson, the trailer, traveled with it.
That play starts with Tomlinson coming in and going right after Morgan, not letting her to do a nice little crossover behind the back, open up some space from the left side. Forces the decision to come in and makes Georgia Tech make a mistake.
It's a 12-2 run for Boston College over the last 3 minutes. Can they add to it to end the third? Todd, yes! What a quarter for Tiana Todd.
Wagner get going too, who was 2 for 2 from the floor. So look for Boston College to build off that momentum here in the fourth.
So Morgan had 8 of her 10 points in the third quarter, and Todd 15 of her 19 in the third. So now as we start the fourth, again, we told you about the run that BC's on at the moment. Gotta figure it's gotta happen early to see if there's any sort of comeback. And quickly, it's a foul underneath as we start the fourth.
Yeah, Zoesha Smith does a great job following up her shot, gets another opportunity, and then gets smacked on the hands by Tatum Green.
You see, just as a final point, again, it was mostly Todd. It was really the offensive end that got them back in because, you know, BC outscored Georgia Tech 23-17 in the third. But Georgia Tech was 8 for 13 from the floor in the third quarter. It's not like they had a bad offensive quarter by any means.
Yeah, really, it felt like both teams started shooting it well. You know, Georgia Tech's had pretty good percentages throughout the game, but BC, a couple of missed shots early on in that first half. Now in the third, second half starting to fall.
A couple of free throws for Zoesha Smith. So Georgia Tech has the lead back to 17. Tomlinson's played a lot of minutes here in this second half. There's the line here. You don't want to force to Todd too much, but that's obviously the hot hand at the moment for BC. That's a pretty good up and under move by Dontavia Wagner, who's into double figures.
Yeah, she does this move where it looks like she's gonna leave her tippy toes, but keeps her foot on the ground, gets the defense to bite, and creates enough space to sneak it under.
Carnegie's kind of been held in check again today, but again, they haven't needed it with Dunn and Morgan playing as well as they have. Cross court, Carnegie tipped. 4 to shoot here for Georgia Tech. Gotta find something. Dunn gotta go. It's short on the runner. Good defensive stand by Boston College.
You see Tiana Todd as well. Just yell out, let's go. That's what she wants to see from this defense. And now BC trying to push the tempo.
That's what Tomlinson's out there for. Kept the plant foot. Wagner long 2, a little bit strong. And then Green coming over the back on the rebound.
Well, again, just good opportunity here for the Eagles to find other players to get involved. This time Wagner got stuck in the paint, was in a difficult position, and before the 3 seconds, able to release it and get it up and in.
See what she's done over the course of her career here on the Heights.
Crazy to think that she transferred over, right? So now her entire career here at Boston College and still has amazing numbers.
Right for 3. That was off to the left. Tomlinson head up with a burst. Todd to her right, and the foul before the shot. So now it's Todd and Wagner who have 29 of the Eagles' 40 today. That last foul on Dunn, that's her 3rd. Just something to note if this gets a little bit closer.
Tough look there on that shot. You don't want to force it if you're BC. You're chipping away, right? You continue to chip away. You want to get to the spots that you feel comfortable in. You want to force up these runners or these moving layups where momentum is going to force that ball off the rim quickly.
Dunn, nice to get it to Blackshear. Seemed like a ton doing on that sequence, but Blackshear still finds her way. Just kind of sat right between 15 and 17. Georgia Tech is led by as much as 28 in that third quarter. If the Eagles get any closer, it's back to 15 with Wagner, who has 12.
Got to crash boards if you're going to get opportunities, and Wagner continues to see that shot go up, follow it, and give her team another chance.
It's the second game in a row here that after the slow start, the Eagles did eventually get going. Just can they find their way back after digging the early hole? Morgan crossed it over, lost it, and a held ball will give possession to Boston College with 6:31 to go here in the fourth.
And Morgan wanted to reach and foul, but I think that was a lot of ball there. And going back to the Dontavia Wagner basket, we talked about just following shots, right? Good job just corralling that rebound with a couple of white jerseys around her, and still kisses it off the glass and finishes.
Daly kicks, Tomlinson, no good from three. Offensive rebound for Wagner. Kicks for Todd, three ball, no good. Is there a third offensive rebound? It was nearly there, but instead it's Morgan on the run out. Talked about Wagner, who did pick up those 2 fouls early, 8 of her 12 have come in this second half.
Just good shot selection, right? I mean, you look at Todd, 2 for 3 from the three-point line, 6 of 12 in the second half, and for Wagner, 4 of 5.
Morgan 1 or 2, but Smith got an offensive rebound and is fouled.
You talked about veteran plays. That's a veteran play, to know you're off balance, you've got some bodies around you, just throw it up, try to draw a foul, and get to the free throw line.
Zoesha Smith, who's a 69% free throw shooter. Georgia Tech's hit their free throws today. Now 11 for 12. And Smith is into double figures. The mark of a great team as well, right? A couple of moments it felt like BC had a chance to get back in, but Georgia Tech never really let them get close, despite BC going on a nice run to get from 28 to as little as 15 on the deficit. Tomlinson in and out.
And now the defense for Georgia Tech has adjusted. They put Blackshear on Todd. That's more size and length on Tiana Todd, so makes it a little bit more difficult for her to get that quick release off.
Dunn defended well by Daly, who then was worse for wear at the end of it.
Yeah, I think Dunn just went right through, and Daly got some contact upstairs. Inadvertent, but just when the ball kind of loses, you're going to see it. Good job by Daly to close out, get up in her space, and then right there is where the contact kind of happens.
Morgan right to the basket. And Georgia Tech has really reestablished things. Daly drives and is fouled. With 4:55 remaining in the fourth. Felt like there was a chance.
And a great person, not only on the court, but off the court, what she was able to do even in her final years to just spread the message, to help people across the basketball community, the New York community, a great product out of Christ the King, a powerhouse in women's basketball, girls basketball in New York.
And part of some great Boston College teams. Couple of free throws for Daly. Had that offensive stretch, but now BC just 1 for their last 7 from the floor as Georgia Tech has taken a hold of this game. And again, that's, you know, when coaches talk all the time, it sounds like coach speak sometimes, but they give you the, you know, we have to play the full 40 minutes or the full 60 minutes or whatever the case may be, as Dunn makes another 3 up to 23 points. Well, this is kind of what they mean in situations like that to pull off an upset like this, right? I mean, you see it in spurts, but you have to do it the whole way in order to get a victory like this, as Sidbury knocks down the three.
And for Boston College, they need more than just one scorer each game, right? Like, you need your third, second scorers to show up. It can't just be a one-player show. That's what it felt like early on. It felt like BC was trying to give it to Tiana Todd or try to get somebody going instead of trying to get the whole team involved. And now here in the second half, we're seeing that. We're seeing what happens when you move the ball well, when defense leads to offense. And Sidbury hits that three. Wagner has a couple of points. Todd got hot. Just got to be consistent.
Todd drives. Nice take, but it's in and out. Todd has now attempted 21 of Boston College's 63 shots from the floor. It's thrown away, but a foul.
I think Todd got a little bit of a hold there down low on Smith.
Second foul on Tiana Todd. And it sends Zoesha Smith back to the line.
Sorry, but another one of those players that could really get hot for Georgia Tech is Zoesha Smith, the fifth year. Talked about her transferring over from Georgia. Played in 74 games, 19 starts, but here at Georgia Tech has really developed into a starter and has done it all.
Well, it's now 4 straight games in double figures for Smith. 11 points today, 5 of 6 from the foul line. Averaging more than 14 per game, and the 3 coming in which she all scored double figures. Todd left hand is no good. The long rebound comes out for Wagner. Size advantage for Daly. Kicks it back for Wagner. 7 on the timer. And taken away by Tech. Lob inside, Blackshear, nice extra pass.
This is why Georgia Tech is going to be a really hard out in the ACC tournament and maybe the NCAA tournament.
Nice move by Sidbury on the other side for 9 points.
Just unselfish, really. Even when it feels like a player's going for 30, you have a couple of other players going for 15 and 20. So it just feels like it's an all-around effort from top to bottom with this program right now.
It's had a couple of stretches here or there. Tech shooting 51% on the floor today.
Just felt like they never really got out of character, even when BC had that storm coming.
Right, got inside, no good. It's out of bounds. The Eagles actually have had 14 more attempts from the floor today, but just not had the percentage.
And we were talking at halftime about possessions, but you just see the passing for Georgia Tech. Even in transition, they see where everybody is. They keep their eyes up, and Blackshear with just a nice touch pass down low, out of position with the defender below her. Still gets it over to Smith.
So Smith's up to 13 points. Morgan with 13. And Dunn with the biggest game at 23. No good there on the 3. Morgan nearly lost the handle on it. But keeps it going for Wright, who will wisely take some time off. Tech trying to get back to the NCAA tournament this year after making it in 21 and 22. And they certainly look like they have a team to do it, as Smith is 1 point shy of her Georgia Tech high. Sidbury, and decent take, just does not go today.
And it's a blueprint, right? What Georgia Tech is doing this season is a blueprint after the tough year they had last year. And Boston College can learn from it, but Georgia Tech taking advantage of it here today.
So as we talk about where Georgia Tech is in this conference picture, this is what's on the horizon for them. A couple of road games with Clemson and Wake Forest before, I think, that 3-game stretch. NC State, Florida State, and Cal. 3 teams right around them in the conference standings. A couple of ranked teams in there. That should be very interesting. And then they'll finish on the road at Stanford. But you certainly see the signs and the makings of what could be a team that has a chance to go on a run. I mean, so much is going to depend on matchups. There's so many good teams in this league. But Tech certainly feels like they have a group that has a chance. As we enter the final minute of play.
It's just about where you finish, right? If you can keep adding to the resume, get a chance to go dancing. We saw Georgia Tech in Fort Pierce's first couple of years go to the Sweet 16. You know, with the win today, it will be her 3rd 20-win season at Georgia Tech. 5th overall in 12 years of coaching.
Right, no good. And a foul on the floor. So it was Kara Dunn, certainly most of her work in the first half, 23 points. And then Smith with 15 and Morgan for 13 to lead Georgia Tech for what will be a 20th win and an 8th in ACC play. So Smith, if she can make these, she'll have a new Georgia Tech high. Scored 16 in a double-double against Duke a couple of weeks ago. Here's Kara Dunn. Finishes with 23 points. And Smith will stay on that 16-point number.
When you start off so hot, you got to freshen yourself off there on the bench.
Certainly earned it from her first half performance. There's Jacayla Thompson with 2. Georgia Tech can just run this out if they so choose. Built the lead to as much as 28 this afternoon. Boston College cut it down to 15 a few times, but Tech holds on, and it's a 20-point victory for the Yellow Jackets. Another 20-win season for Nell Fortner and Georgia Tech.